Hey garden friends, today I wanted to talk to you about 11 things you should know about growing yarrow, also known as Achillea, in your cottage garden. So let's get talking about this wonderful, versatile plant. Yeah, this was a request from a viewer. Many of you are enjoying my series of 10 things, 11 things, 12 things to know about a particular plant. And I try to give you the basics of each ones that will help you to be more successful in growing each one in your own garden. So this one, yarrow, is perfect for a wide range of gardens. So whether you have a cottage garden, vegetable garden, pollinator garden, a drought-tolerant garden, this flower will fit all of them. So, number one, yarrow loves full sun, 6 to 8 hours at least. That will produce the best flowers or most abundant flowering, the strongest stems, and overall healthy plant. So if you live even in some very, very hot regions, this plant can take the heat. Many other heat tolerant or ones that enjoy the heat, you may need to provide afternoon shade in the hotter regions. But this is one flower that you don't have to do that for success. So what happens if they get too much shade? Well, they tend to get floppy. They don't flower as well, and it just doesn't maintain a good, healthy yarrow plant. So lots of sun is key. Number two, poor soil actually gets you better results. Yarrow developed in grasslands where you're competing for nutrients and there's not very many nutrients. So it has adapted to that kind of conditions. So if you have very rich soil, you could still grow them. I do in one area that the soil is richer, but I do provide support. I get beautiful blooms, but I have to provide support because it tends to get floppy, and that is the nature of it. But in a lean soil, I don't have to provide support for my yarrow growing. I have it growing alongside, it's the roadside of my entrance garden, and that's very sandy. It's like road mixed dirt, and it gets a lot of pollution that runs off the road. So yeah, the yarrow is great there, stands up strong and tall, and blooms prolifically. So keep that in mind when you plant it. If you have an area that has leaner soil or less nutrient dense soil, they'll work there. But don't give up if you have richer soil. You can still grow it. Just be mindful of supporting it. Number three, once established, yarrow is very, very drought tolerant. Loves well-draining soil. Well-draining soil is very, very important, even if you grow it in the richer soil like I had mentioned before. But the drought tolerant, once it's established, it can dry out, go through drier periods, and still work well. And I just did a video on pulse watering and what that means. And I would recommend you look at that, review the video, but know that I simplified it I boiled it down. So there's many of the details that you would need to look up the research to get. And I bring that up because it said, you get the yarrow established and it gets the deeper roots so that it can maintain itself during those drier periods. But how deep the roots are is relative to each plant. And that's an important thing, because if you think deep roots and it's 6 feet deep, it's not always the case. So I needed you to know that. Only because I had a lot of questions on that, and I would really recommend, I am no expert in the pulse watering. I've heard about it, I've read some about it, but there is so much to it that to fit it into your garden regime, then you need to research and figure out what works in your area for you and the plants that you grow. So when I say establish the yarrow, the first year you want to keep it watered until it really gets established. For me, you know what? I'll put up the zones that it is hardy in. I don't know that I have that here. I know a lot of people ask that. So I will get that information and put it across the screen for you. I do know it is hardy across many, many zones. So number 4, pollinators absolutely love yarrow. This is a great plant to draw in beneficial insects to your cottage garden, your vegetable garden, your low maintenance garden, your drought tolerant garden. So yeah, the wide array of pollinators. Let me read. I have the list here of them. So it's the flat flower clusters provide easy landing pads for butterflies, native bees, honeybees, hoverflies, beneficial predatory wasps, and ladybugs or lady beetles, as some people call them. So many of these beneficials, they actually rely on the nectar from your yarrow. So it really makes it a beneficial addition to your pollinator garden. Also, because of that virtue of attracting the pollinators, the vegetable garden is a great place to add it as well. So number 5, it blooms for months. From early in the season, this is the start of the second week of June, and mine is all starting to bloom. Now, I have a later start in the garden because our Mays can be very cool, but now my yarrow is starting to open up and look beautiful. So from now all the way until frost, my yarrow will bloom, but it does take some deadheading. Now, if you want to use it as a cut flower, that's a perfect way of deadheading. Well, it shouldn't be called deadheading, cutting, because the flowers aren't dead yet, but you're cutting them back when they're still alive. And yeah, so keep up with the deadheading and you'll have beautiful flowers all through the season. 6, modern varieties offer you more than just the commonly known yellow of yarrow. Many people will think of the bright garish yellow color when they think of yarrow or Achillea. That's common yarrow. And I'm here to tell you that there are so many hybrids in so many colors that you can grow from seed. And yeah, I have tried many of them. I have done the summer berries mix, which is beautiful, lots of shades of pinks, an array. I mentioned the cerise queen, which is a deep magenta. I've grown the, there was one that had the peaches in it. I wasn't really greatly fond of it, but I saw something similar in the Mendocino Botanical Gardens, and they had it in mass, and it was gorgeous in mass with the color scheme that they had. So I may try some more of those. But yeah, do look it up. And there's also one that's more of a pom-pom shape, the flower. I wasn't successful in growing that from seed, but it could have been how I was doing things at that time, and I want to try again. But yes, there's also dwarf ones and tall ones. So be sure and look across many seed sources to find these varying colors for something that will suit your needs in your garden. Oh yeah, there was one that was called a terracotta mix, I think. Let me read off the colors here on my list. Okay, popular shades include soft pink, rose, red, coral, peach, cream, white, gold, and terracotta. Yeah, the terracotta one is the one I was thinking of trying too. I haven't found, well, I haven't bought. I've seen the seeds. Okay, so many times the flowers will change color as they age. And so that's not a negative. Maybe they fade, what have you. But then you have all these different colors on the same plant, which is beautiful. So 7, it can spread. Now, some people think that's a bad thing, but for many of us, that is a good thing. Now, some varieties, the more common, they spread by underground ground rhizomes. And they can seem to be a little aggressive. I have a white one that is like that. It also spreads from seed, but it is super easy to pull up. So the rhizomus roots go horizontally and not very deep. So those ones are very simple to pull up, so I don't find it a problem. But many of the seed-grown ones, the pinks, like my cerise queen and my other pinks and the other specialty colors, they do not spread like that. And my dwarf ones don't spread aggressively. They spread a little bit. I actually wish they spread a little more because the dwarf ones I haven't been able to grow from seed. They're just root divisions that I take. So if it spread a little faster, I could put them around further. I love my dwarf ones. They really make a great border plant in front of the bed, my garden beds, and I love them. So yeah, they don't spread quickly. So many of the hybrids are very well behaved, especially if you don't want them to reseed, then that's where the deadheading comes in. I personally like them reseeding, and I just edit where I don't want them. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, all yarrow, definitely you want to monitor on them. And if a clump gets too big, like I do with the dwarf, dig it up, divide it if you want, share with friends, all of the above. It works very, very well. So 8, dividing your plants every few years keeps them vigorous. So I do need to divide my cerise queen. You know what? Next time I divide, I think I'll try to take you along. Where that's at, it may be a little difficult to do, but I'll say how I divide many times. If I don't want to dig up the entire patch, I will sink my shovel down through the middle of the yarrow plant, and I will divide off. I'll just pop out the 1/2 that I've cut through and then pop it out of the ground and put it somewhere else. Yep, it will go into shock, but it will recover. And you just fill in the hole. I do with compost or soil mix, and where it came out from, and you have now divided your plant very easily without digging the whole thing up. You can dig the whole thing up and divide that way, works just as well. But yeah, that will keep your plants more vigorous and healthier in the long run if you do divide them every few years. I will admit it's probably been 5 years since I divided my cerise queen, and so it's time to do it. If you want to divide, spring or early fall are great times to do that. Because of the cooler conditions, when you replant, the roots can get established quickly before they experience extremes, either of cold or hot. So 9, they are deer and rabbit resistant. Now, I know I'll get a lot of comments. Rabbits ate all mine, or the deer finished mine off. Nothing is totally deer-proof or rabbit-proof, especially if they're little. But because of the aromatic foliage and the bitter taste, yarrow is more resistant to deer pressure than other plants. So yeah, the texture of the foliage is one thing they don't like on their tongue. So that is a big plus for areas that have deer pressure. 10, I touched on it briefly before, I think. It makes an excellent cut flower. So because of its reblooming capabilities and the fact that you can actually dry it for everlasting bouquets makes it a great cut flower. And the blooms will last a long time in the vase. So cut them when the blooms are fully open, and you can pop them in a vase, and or you can hang them upside down in a dry, cool place and they will dry beautifully. 11, it is one of the easiest perennials to grow from seed. I have a video on winter sowing it. You can sow it any way you like. Indoor sowing, I will probably try that pom-pom one, the white pom-pom one again here in the greenhouse. I need to do a video of seeds I'm starting in June. That would be a good one. I may do that because I am starting seeds. So yeah, I have found it super simple. The winter sowing method worked really well for me. Also, did I start some indoor? I think the winter sowing is what has really worked well. I know a lot of people love the winter sowing method. Yeah, so it's a beautiful way to do it. Mine self-seeds in the garden. So if you wanted to start out in the garden, I would do it in fall and spread seeds in the area that I want it to come up. Let it overwinter. Just make sure there's no weeds in there at best you can. I have a video on using a nursery bed. Many times I will use a raised bed that is dedicated to seed starting, that's out in the garden. So anything that likes being cold stratified or spending the winter outside, I'll start seeds in that bed in the fall, and then the next spring I can dig up what has sprouted when it's time and put out in the garden where I want it. And it's just a great way to grow from seed more easily than if you don't have an indoor space that you can successfully grow seeds. So one thing about yarrow, if you start early, in the fall with starting the seeds. You will get first year bloom, but if not, if you start them inside and then put them out in spring, then it may be the following year before you get your blooms, but that's okay. They're worth the wait. And because they're so easy to grow from seed, just to grow in the garden, they are a perfect flower for beginner gardeners, which is always good to hear. So yarrow doesn't require a lot of attention, but it is so well worth a place in your garden for not only its low maintenance tendencies, the drought tolerance, and a wide array of colors, and the way how easy it is to grow. So do make a spot in your garden for yarrow today. Find a beautiful color you enjoy. If you want to just buy it at the garden center, I know many places do carry them now. I know the big garden center I go to will have yarrow in a container. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Come on back and I will have another one. I've been trying to work on my rose video. I was trying to do it as I went through the garden. And yeah, so the sun is out and I couldn't do it without the glare. So I'm going to try to do it maybe this evening or early in the morning and get that video for you. Or I'm just going to end up just doing clips of video of roses and do it in here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Come on back for more flower fun. If you have a plant you want me to focus on, I will do so. I think there's another one that someone asked me about and I need to do. So yeah, I got to get on that. I'm trying. There's so many ideas I have, so many things I need to video that I am getting a little behind. Friends, also I wanted to update you. I am working on the snail mail club called Letters from Flower Patch. I have yet to, I'm working on the art piece. I am pricing, getting prints done because I don't have a printer yet that can do the prints in high quality. I'm also working on a payment method where there's various options. Some are better than others and the pricing is different. So I'm nailing down that as well. So it takes a lot of legwork to get this going. I didn't realize, and I probably shouldn't have even announced it till I had more under my belt, but I was trying to gain an idea of interest. I've already got over 100 people on the wait list, and I was trying to keep my launch at a level that I could manage it easily and just see how it went. So I'm going to have a cutoff point of 200 signups, and then I'll launch the first ones and see how it goes. So if you want to be notified when this launches, and you can subscribe, or you can sign up for the first mailing. You don't have to have a subscription for a year long or anything. It's month to month. And yeah, that way I'll know how many art prints to get printed and all of that kind of stuff. So I did, in my last update on it, I showed you my hand painted envelope. The first 100 subscribers or people who join will get a hand painted envelope for sure. I may extend that to more, but right now that's what I can do. So I will see you in my next video. Please, I'll have the wait list. Sign up. There's no obligation. It's just you're expressing your interest in knowing more and being notified when this launches. So go on and sign up. You're just giving me your email so I can notify you via email that it has launched, and then you can check out more. So there's the update on that. Okay, I will see you in my next video.